The tension that had hung over us like a storm cloud for days finally broke, leaving in its wake a calmness that felt almost surreal. The conflict that had threatened to pull Joey and me apart had been intense, fueled by the very traits that defined me: my passion, my need for deep emotional connection, and the fierce protectiveness that sometimes bordered on possessiveness. But somehow, against all odds, we had navigated through the storm and emerged on the other side, our bond stronger for it. The apartment, which had felt so oppressive in our struggle, now seemed to breathe with new life. The late afternoon sun filtered through the curtains, casting a warm golden glow over the room. The shadows that had once seemed so long and menacing were now soft and gentle, a reminder that even the darkest moments could give way to light. The air was filled with a quiet sense of relief, a feeling that we had weathered the worst of it and come out stronger. My Scorpio nature had been both a blessing and a curse throughout our relationship. The intensity with which I loved Joey had at times threatened to overwhelm us, but it was also that same intensity that had driven me to fight for us, to push through the fear and insecurity that had fueled our conflict. I had always known that my emotions ran deep, that my love was fierce and consuming, but I had learned to channel that passion into something positive, something that could sustain us rather than tear us apart. As I sat on the couch, I felt a profound sense of peace settle over me. The weight that had pressed down on me for so long had lifted, leaving me with a clarity that was both refreshing and empowering. I knew now that our love was strong enough to withstand the challenges we faced, that the very traits that had once seemed like obstacles were, in fact, the foundation of what made us work. My need for connection, my desire to protect and nurture, had been the driving force behind my actions, and while it had led to conflict, it had also led to growth. The apartment felt like home again, a place of warmth and comfort, filled with the echoes of our laughter and the quiet moments of understanding that had brought us back together. The city outside was alive with the sounds of life, the distant hum of traffic, the chatter of people on the streets, the occasional burst of music from a passing car. But inside, our world was calm, the storm behind us, and the future ahead of us filled with possibility. Joey and I had spent the day reconnecting, rebuilding the trust that had been shaken but not broken. The intensity of our emotions had not faded, but it had shifted, transforming from something that threatened to consume us into something that bound us even more tightly together. There was a new sense of understanding between us, a recognition that while our love was not always easy, it was worth the effort, worth the challenges we faced. As the day began to fade into evening, the apartment took on a cozy, intimate feel. The light from the setting sun bathed the room in a warm, amber glow, and I felt a sense of contentment settle over me. I had always known that love required work, that it was not simply about the feelings we had for each other, but about the choices we made every day to nurture and protect that love. And today, we had chosen to fight for each other, to let our love guide us through the darkness and into the light. Joey had always been my anchor, the one who brought balance to the intensity of my emotions. With her, I felt understood in a way that I had never experienced before, and that understanding had been the key to resolving our conflict. She had seen past the surface of my fears and insecurities, recognizing the depth of my love and the sincerity of my intentions. In turn, I had learned to trust her, to let go of the need to control and instead embrace the vulnerability that came with loving someone so deeply. As the evening deepened, the room filled with a soft golden light that seemed to mirror the warmth I felt inside. The shadows that had once been so daunting were now merely a backdrop to the light that illuminated our path forward. We had faced the darkness together and emerged stronger, our bond fortified by the challenges we had overcome. The decision that Joey made to move in with me was the final step in solidifying our commitment to each other. It was a choice that filled me with a sense of joy and anticipation, a sign that we were truly ready to build a life together. The thought of sharing my space with her, of waking up every day knowing that she would be there, filled me with a happiness that I had not felt in a long time. It was as if the last piece of the puzzle had finally fallen into place, and the future we had imagined was now within our grasp. The apartment, once a place of solitude, was now a shared space, a home where we could continue to grow together, to build on the foundation of love and trust that we had fought so hard to protect. The warmth of the room, the gentle light that bathed us, felt like a promise of what was to come, a future filled with love, laughter, and the occasional storm, but one that we would face together, hand in hand. As I sat there, the quiet of the evening settling around me, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought us to this point. My Scorpio traits, with all their intensity and passion, had been both a challenge and a gift, shaping our relationship in ways that were both difficult and beautiful. But in the end, it was that very intensity that had brought us closer, that had forged a bond strong enough to withstand the trials we had faced. The city outside continued its rhythm, the night coming to life with its usual vibrancy, but inside our world was quiet, filled with the peace that comes from knowing that we had chosen each other, that we had faced the storm and emerged stronger for it. The love that had once seemed so fragile was now something solid, something that would carry us forward into the future we had always dreamed of. And as the night finally closed in, the room bathed in the soft glow of lamplight, I knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter for Joey and me. A chapter filled with the promise of a life lived together, a life where the intensity of my love would no longer be a source of fear, but a strength that would carry us through whatever challenges lay ahead.